everyone. Today I thought it would be interesting to share with you some of my art that I've produced over the past, year or so. And there's a lot more as well, kind of put away right now. Yeah, I've been producing a lot. I've been drawing. That's my main kind of medium. I do paint a little bit, but it's more sporadic. I really picked up my drawing habit, I think in 2018 again, because of Inktober. So I guess this could also be an Inktober post, even though I'm not really doing that. I have been drawing lately, but I'm working on a piece. And some of the pieces that I do, they're not done like in a small period of time. It's like things that I build over days. And I think as I go through this, you'll kind of see what I mean. So this notebook I picked up at Muji. It was like something they got like in, and it was cheap, and I just thought, it's a good size. There's a lot of paper here. This will be good for some ideas and for like carrying around with me. And as you can see, this notebook's been through a lot. And consequently, I did draw a bit on the back of it, so that's an interesting aspect of it. Anyway, the first couple of pages are very kind of rough and uninteresting, I would say. Like, I may just kind of skip through here. We have a figure 8. I did another one, that's right. Oh yeah, this is kind of upside down, actually. I'm very fond of doing this, kind of circles on circles. There's something very satisfying about it, although some of them aren't circles exactly, and I think it would be interesting to do more of that, but I got very bored of that one. Some of these I, kind of just lost interest in as I was doing them in this book. This is a complete piece, quite interesting. This is another one that I didn't finish. I do have to say, Muji coming into Portland was also, I think, helpful in terms of like actually, because they have pretty epic stationery, and it really flowed into kind of getting me to draw again. I want to digitize this piece. This is one of those like pieces that, hi Nero. It's another, oh, Nero just bumped my camera stand thing. Kind of concerned actually about him being there. Oh, it's a little portrait of my kitty, Space Kitty. Yeah, figure 8s, another figure 8. Yeah, another little piece. They kind of look like planets to me, I don't know. This one was interesting. Kind of like the red detail. Doing that, I do like to contrast with the black and the red. It's, well, this one's completely red. I have digitized this one. It's on, it's in my, not Etsy shop, it's in my Society 6 shop. So some of my art I have digitized. Yeah. Got bored of these hearts. The octopus. I'm quite fond of that one. I have digitized this piece. Quite fond of it. Lots of little dots. Yeah, the cool thing about this is that I kind of have churned it every which way, so like there isn't a consistency in that sense. Love that color. Actually might move the light a bit. It's kind of attracting a bit, I think, or Oh yeah, and there's actually little black dots that I did in there. These were fun pieces actually to work on. In terms of like my process, a lot of the time, the other unfinished piece, I like to zone out. Strange World, working on some Strange Worlds. Another little interesting desert piece is kind of how I see them. Yeah, this one, Strange Worlds. I was playing around with doing some kind of like, you know, drawing a avatar or an icon, but yeah, just gonna kind of flip through these. Oh, I love this piece, the like loops and the line patterns. That's quite fun. It's another one, Pure Red. Oh, I do love that one. Some of these turned out really like lovely. Oh, I also love this one. All right, this piece has also been digitized. I think it gets a little bit less interesting from here. Oh, the Korean alphabet I was working on learning last year. I have given up studying Korean. I mean, not completely. I do think about it, whether I want to return to it or not. But yeah, I did find it rather difficult. And just kind of made me like even more like, just, I don't know, really impressed with like the Korean women I've met, you know, just over the years. Like, so many like really just incredibly powerful women, you know? Oh, yeah. I do like this piece. It's another one of those little figure eights. And people have told me that these often remind them of cells, which I think is definitely an aspect of them that, I mean, I agree. They do look like cells. Like this one I've digitized too, and I think I named it like Splitting Red Cell. Yeah, that's not very nice. This one's kind of sweet. I tried to do like a more like scenic picture, you know? So we have like, you know, kind of not happy with those clouds. I don't know what it is with me and clouds. I should probably practice them more, but I hate doing them, and I never feel like that turned out how I wanted. Yeah, a lot of pieces that I got bored of in there. It's another one of my cell type drawings. Oh, blank piece of paper there. These ones I did when I was in Florida visiting my family. This is another one. This one I've digitized. I'm quite fond of that. There were, you know, some pretty cool pens, I have to say. Just really got a lot out of them. Do you see the birds? Are they teasing you? Oh, how festive. I did this last October for Halloween. I think I might post it again or something. Yeah, that's nice. I'm glad I did this. This one. Quite fond of this one. Just kind of building on top of itself. Oh, yes. It's another one that I chose to digitize. I really love this one. Just the way the colors turned out. And this one's another one. Love that. It's so like just Tetris-y or something. What else do we have in here? have some notes in here too. It's kind of interesting. I kind of stopped completely using it as a, yeah, I don't even want to share those. I have some like weird little characters. Well, this one maybe a bit. I just kind of got bored with it. But I was wanting to like do something like with the lines and the hair thing, but I don't think it really works with like the characters I do. Then I was doing these like crescent moons a bit is another one. Kind of trying to work with that a bit. I did do some other ones that will come across in my other notebook. Yeah, there's lots of notes in here. Oh, interesting. Yeah, well, that's that for that. That's that for that. This is another notebook that I've been working on this past year. Kind of starts, I was doing a little bit of shape experiment stuff. I'm not going to bore you with that, but yeah. Here's a crescent moon, like I said. Working on those. This notebook, like I got cheap at Ross, I think, after Christmas, you know. They always have like art supplies, so I'm always like, you know, what you got here? You know, it's like for kids, that kind of stuff, but you can come across like sometimes like watercolor paper and stuff really like cheap that way. So, you know, I'm like, gotta stock up. Anyway, I got this notebook. I don't really like the paper, but I do like the sturdiness of it. This is a character I drew. This was in the quarantine period. I started doing these like elemental figures. And I was also like wanting to explore colored pencils. So a lot of the stuff that I came up with is colored pencil. I was working with like how to blend it. Like here, I did these planets as well. I like the way that one turned out. I mean, it's not amazing, but I'm proud of it. I learned a lot with it. I love this flower that I did. Love that. This one kind of, actually, this is my favorite fairy I did this spring. Yeah, that was one interesting aspect of quarantining, was just like being able to, you know, actually kind of invest in practicing these kind of things and working with colored pencil. I'm not exactly, yeah, that's another one I didn't finish, perfectly happy with it. I love this fairy. To me, she's like the ultimate like 70s little fairy. Just the colors, you know. Oh, yes, this one. Very vampiric fae kind of energy going on there. This one as well. Yes, they made me very happy. You know, they were a happy thing for me to play with. These ones, I actually need to finish this. I love these fairies that I made. They're like a tomato and an eggplant. These ones, yes. Love these little fairies. Aren't they darling? Yeah, it's nice to look at these. This piece, yeah, this was another piece where I was working with colored pencil and looking at like how to blend it and learning that kind of process. And also I used one of my like waxy pencils. It's another thing where I was doing that, but I didn't finish it exactly, so, but it was the same phenomenon. I was trying to like do galaxy type stuff. Another one I kind of didn't like. This one I was very pleased with how it turned out, the way the like colors blend into one another. Very happy with that. Okay, then this piece, started doing these like triangular ones. I've done a bunch of them. Like it's one of those things that like I can zone out on while I'm doing it, and it's actually a very therapeutic process, which is like one aspect of, I think, drawing specifically that many people don't recognize how soothing it actually is. So like in terms of looking at art as a therapeutic practice, I mean, just the showing up to create in this way, it can be really actually helpful for, especially like if you're like a trauma survivor. To say that, like, you know, you often have like a dysregulated system. So these little trees I did, yes, very interesting. Yes, this is a drawing of a girl I did. It's kind of I did a few heads, so it wasn't nothing really too fascinating, but yeah, some different from my imagination. This piece I didn't finish coloring, too bad, but yeah, I love the like swirl aspect of this. Is that practicing some eyes? I do enjoy that kind of like portrait drawing that's like hyper realistic, but I don't know. I'm kind of just enjoying working with color more. Is that it? That's it. Okay. Yeah, so cool. We get to move on to the stuff that's loose. Okay, this is a very recent drawing I did, actually, holding it upside down. This is a very recent drawing I did. I did it within the last month. Quite happy with it. I think there's only like one mistake or two on it, but I love the colors, the way it turned out. I've really enjoyed working on black paper. I've kind of been doing gel pens a lot recently, and it's yeah, the contrast, it's kind of like being in a negative or something. It's looking at it from a totally different angle for me, which is, and very bright. Like, this is another one of those triangular pieces that I'm talking about. These are just so amazing to make, and they make me so happy to look at. This is a colored pencil piece. So also I've been doing like the colored pencil on black paper, which kind of got me interested in actually working with black paper. And I haven't worked with tan paper, but I want to do that next, because I just like the way that the colored pencil actually pops on it differently. But yeah, that's gel pen and colored pencil. I'm very fond of it. I have like little stones. This one was crazy. I was working on this for weeks. Like all of these little microscopic dots and the negative space in here. I just, and I think there's some colored pencil in there. Yeah, these ones where I do like the dots, they are just epic. And like, I'm doing this and all of these thoughts are just kind of moving through me as I'm creating these things. This is another one that was like very intense. Like every single one of those is like a single dot that I've done. And then the colored pencil aspect. This is very fun, very fun. This one's actually pretty recent too. I think I'm like getting kind of bigger with these things. Like you saw the kind of cellular things that I was doing last year. I've kind of like, I'm making them bigger and kind of more better, you know, kind of perfecting them. I don't know what I was really thinking. I think I kind of see it more like this with this piece, but I'm happy with how it turned out. It's quite something to behold. Maybe it's, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know which way this one goes. I'm still thinking about that. Mainly I think it's like this, but this one, yes. I mean, oh, it's lovely. That is lovely. I enjoy that. That's just so beautiful. Oh, this one is apparently unfinished. Yeah, I don't think I'll bother you with that one. I think this one was done pre-quarantine. Yeah, got the like hearts coming out of it. I love how the light is kind of hitting it. It's yeah, kind of sad. I think I did it around Valentine's Day too. It's another piece I haven't really finished. Mostly done though. Another one of these. I don't think I like the color scheme on that one as much though. I actually think I was working on this one. This was one of the ones I was drawing when I was kind of doing the live drawings. Yeah, so was this one. This one I started on my birthday, I remember. And it was about like, or I was thinking about the hermetic concept of gender, right? That was part of it. And there's like pink going through it. Yeah, it's interesting. I spilled coffee on it. Unfortunate, because there was a lot of work that went into this one, but c'est la vie. That's how it is sometimes, you know? I don't really have much to say about this one. I was just kind of wanting to work with more like angular shapes instead of the like loopy patterny type thing. I wanted something more, you know, sharp. Don't know if I like it as much though. It's interesting. Okay. This little piece, it's like a little landscape piece a bit. One of my little cells, I suppose. It's marker and pen. So yeah, another landscape. Little desert landscape. Quite fond of that. Oh, this one. Oh, God, this is just beautiful to me. I don't even know what to say. I love it. I love the way this turned out. This is a very satisfying piece for me. And just, the colors. It's so playful. And it looks to me like just, I don't know, it's whimsical. It's like something that would draw a child's eye, you know? It speaks to that part of me. My art speaks to that part of me, you know? It's a way I keep her alive, you know, and keep little Terry, you know, in the world doing her thing. Oh, this one. This one was interesting. I worked on this during the wildfires a lot this summer. And, you know, Mars went retrograde and the moon was like orange and I was just like, I don't know, this came out of me. And I think those elements will always be in it as I look at it. I'm very pleased with this one though, very pleased. It's just like, I don't know. Another one from this summer. I decided to like, I kind of accidentally did an animal thing and then I thought, well, why don't you do more animal stuff? Like, so I did this turtle and I'm very just happy with it to like use the patterns that I've been working on and then to put it into like an animal. It was something new, but I really like how it turned out. This is one of those ones that I was talking about. Like, I did this and then I was like, this looks like a bird. So I kind of went with it. It's a bird. I think I put this one on my Instagram. But yeah, I'm very, very fond of how this one turned out. The details of it are quite something. I put little snakes here. So yeah, it's a nice piece. What do I have here? Some watercolor stuff I was doing. I actually did during the quarantine work on some cards, which I actually think I did show you all. This is older, but it's a favorite. It happened to be in this pile, so yeah, love that little character. Yeah, these ones are kind of older. This is actually a colored pencil that I worked on a couple years ago. Oh, trying to do like a impressionist sort of theme there. I think it came out pretty nicely. This is another one from this year. This was from the springtime, I think. No, I think it goes like this. think I saw some artists on Instagram and I was like, I'm inspired to kind of like fill the page, really. I don't think this looks anything like their work, but it's another one I did this year. Rainbows. Oh, this one. As above, so below. As within, so without. In heaven as it is on earth. This one is ink and watercolor and pen. And I'm also quite fond of the way this one turned out. I love the just intensity of the like blotches. Okay, these are actually some older like watercolor flowers I did probably like 3 years ago. Yeah. This is something I don't really know what the hell I was doing here. I think I just wanted to make an interesting looking, like, pretty pattern with, like, lighter colors. So I think that's what that's about. Yeah, I don't really want to share those. So yeah, that's what I had to show you all. Oh wait, no, that's right. I have these here. That's right. I have some of my, more of the black paper. So yeah. I'm very fond of these. I've worked on these this summer. And I digitized quite a few of these. Yeah, I don't know what this is, kind of like a candy mountain to me. And it's like, I think I call this one Neon Punk or something. And I was doing these evil eyes. So, you know, just for any of that shit you want to send me, here you go. I also did some red ones, so it's, ooh, yeah. These are I'm quite fond of this, and actually, yeah, in my shop I have these like as a mask. Then I'd like to wear that one to work. It's quite nice. Black and gold ink, white gel pen. I just like the way it turned out. It's pretty. This is actually, yeah, some tan paper that I do have that I was doing stuff on. This is interesting. I don't really know what the point of this was, but I do like the way it turned out. Pink and blue. This is a checkered thing. Quite like this one. I don't really know, what this is about exactly, but I'm quite fond. Yeah, I think that's the way it goes. Look at that. I mean, it's just, yeah, it's playful. Oh, I did some flowers. This was another dotted piece that I did. I'm quite fond of that. Like that. I don't really have anything to say about it. I just like how that turned out. Oh, Nero's moving again. Yeah, here we go. This is, yeah. I think I called this one the Red Dotted Nebula. I don't remember. That's kind of what it evokes for me. Just, spacey kind of. Yeah, I guess that's all I have to show you. So I hope you enjoyed looking at that and listening to me talk about it. I don't really have much to say. I am kind of understated about it, but I enjoy doing it, and it's one of those things that gives me like comfort, and I don't really know what the purpose of it is apart from that, but I'm happy to be doing it. I'm happy to show up and serve that muse, and it's just really been incredibly powerful as a tool in my life to help me just, I guess, move forward. So, I don't know. I think that you should share your art as well if you have any, and take care until I'm back here again